Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Motorcast. This is your host, Dave. I got on the line a special guest, Jet dragster driver Ray Kelley. How's it going, Ray?
Great, man. Great.
So, did you do any runs yet this year?
Yeah, we've got a couple in last year, and we've got a bunch more coming this year.
So, let me ask you this, Ray. How did it all begin for you in drag racing? What got you into it?
Man, I'm having a hard time hearing you guys.
I said, how did it all begin for you to get into drag racing?
Man, I was a kid, and like every kid, in motorsports. Now, all of us have the same story. A lot of us, and parents took me to the drag strip one day, and that was it. Man, I was hooked. They took me to a drag strip up in Maryland, and the jet dragsters were there, and from then on out, I was just hooked forever.
So back then, what were some of the jet cars you used to watch back then?
Do what now?
I said, back then when you were young, what were some of the jets you used to watch?
Man, I watched Shockwave. I watched Aggie Hendricks. Man, a lot of legends. I actually got a chance to see Afron before he passed away. Those guys were legends of the sports. And, Bruce Vickers and Tommy O'Brien and just some really neat guys that just, every time I went to the racetrack, they were just so great with me, man. They treated me well. I was a kid, sticking my head up the tailpipe and stuff, and kind of crazy stuff I see the kids do nowadays. And of course, I have to tell them the same thing they told me. Hey, man, that thing's hot. So other than that, man, we've had a really good year, and people have treated me really good in this sport. And I'm around a lot of good people. There's not many of us, so. We do like to take care of each other and take care of our fans. Every time we go, if it wasn't for them, there's no way we can do what we do.
So what year did you begin your jet car career?
What's that now?
What year did you begin driving jet cars?
Man, I'm sorry, but I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I said, what year did you begin driving jet cars?
Man, I got my license about 5 years ago, and I've had the car for about 6 years. It took, I purchased it from a gentleman, and we took it all completely apart. These things are 300 miles an hour, so we've got to be really, I've got to really be confident in what I'm driving. So we totally disassembled the car and completely reassembled the car, and put all the new safety features that NHRA required, and had to shrink the fuel tank because it had too big of a tank in it, and we just updated it completely, and just a lot of work. It took us about a year to get it all knocked out, but we have a really solid car now.
So now, what's the fastest run time you had with this jet?
Man, with this one, when I was doing my licensing, we actually had 304 in it. Normally, this thing runs, pretty much. We like to put a big show on, big fire show and that stuff, because that's where the fans are at. The speed, all it is on a board at the other end of the track. Of course, that's the exhilarating part for us. Get to do average about 295. Normally it's about 280. Pretty consistent at that.
Right. So now, are you looking to get up to 300 with this thing?
300 is what we always shoot for. But you start hitting that 300, you got to put the thing on kill, and a lot of times you wind up tearing stuff up. And we try to go out and put a good show on. We have a lot of races back to back to back, and of course we all still we all have a job still, so we have to go home, work during the week, and work on this thing in the afternoons, and so the less we break, better off we are the next weekend.
Like Scotty Heat, he's always going like 300 plus.
Yeah, I like Scotty Heat, love him to death, man. Great guy, met him quite a few times. They break a lot of parts sometimes, anytime you try to do that, you put anything on kill, I don't care what you do. If it's a street car or, anything, you put it on kill and, you're going to start breaking stuff. Scotty, he's a great guy. Like I said, I've met him many, many times and, always good, full of good information. And, I'm the new guy. I'm kind of the new guy in the program. So, I listen to everything they have to say and, apply it when it's needed, man. And when it's not, it's definitely stored away just in case we do need it one day.
Right. So now, Ray, what goes into getting a jet car license?
You saying what do we do to get a jet car license?
Yes, sir.
Man, it's a pretty tough deal. NHRA is pretty tough on us, and I understand why, because they just want to make sure that we can handle this thing. requires, 2 licensed drivers. You have to rent a track, for an entire 2 or 3 days a lot of times, and you have to rent, you have to have an NHRA track official there. You have to have a guy that, verifies the time. You have to, you got all the ambulances you got to pay for, the fire trucks, and just everything that goes with the safety part of this, because this is what it's about, safety. You've seen lots and lots of crashes, and you've seen a lot of people walk away. Some horrendous crashes, that, people walk away from, all the way from the top fuel cars all the way down to the, to the smaller cars in this program. But, it's really tough. 13 passes you have to make, and one of my drivers may say, "Hey, turn it off half track." He just wants to know that you know where you're at. It's a pretty tough deal, pretty brutal on the body. 13 passes in 2 days, but it's an unbelievable rush.
So now, what jet car drivers were the biggest inspiration to you back in the day?
Man, Aggie Hendricks, she was, I'd love to meet her. I never have met her yet. That's probably my biggest one, because I think that was my first autograph I ever had, and I actually still have that hero card today. As growing up, I was a military kid, and we traveled the world, and, I always had that in my suitcase or on my top drawer. I always, just always looked at it and said, one day, I'm going to get me one of them suckers, and hopefully one day I'll actually get a chance to meet her. That's probably one of my most inspirational people, because she was just so kind to me at the racetrack. I always remember that, and I was probably 8 or 9 years old, and it was unbelievable how nice she was and knowing now how much they have in between rounds, how much they have to do. She took the time, so that was kind of a cool deal. Probably Aggie Hendricks.
Okay. Now, what kind of jet engine do you have in your jet?
I actually have the little hot rod is what they call it. It's a J85. It's a General Electric J85, and that thing produces probably right around, if you it's thrust. But if you calculated the thrust into horsepower, you're probably looking at about 12,000 horsepower. It's about 6,500 pounds of thrust on basically a 1,400-pound car. And what I tell people all the time, they always ask me, how fast is it? And I always tell them, basically, this thing is designed to push a 27,000-pound airplane through the sky, at 40,000 feet at, 600 miles an hour, and we put it on a 1,400-pound car. You just kind of let your imagination run wild, and kind of pretty much what it is. You have to shut it off, because it won't stop going as long as you put fuel and air in it. It'll just keep on going faster and faster and faster.
Right. So now what kind of fuel do you run on?
We actually run the jet fuel, because that's what these are designed to do, to burn on. Guys have had problems in the past and stuff, because they burn the diesel or whatever. Now, don't get me wrong, the diesel makes more BTU, which makes more heat, which makes more thrust, but it's just we like to use the jet fuel, because it's what these things were designed, the fuel controllers and all the lines and all the pumps and everything was designed for jet fuel, and that's just our choice.
Right. So now the name Game XChange, how did you come up with that name?
Man, those guys, they actually Game XChange is becoming nationwide. It's a gaming store. Basically they sell and buy used games, videos, and just everything you could possibly think of that's electronic wise. Lots of video games and so forth, and we're all up the Memphis area, way down into Texas, all in Oklahoma, Connecticut, Kentucky, down Louisiana. The stores are popping up everywhere, and I just happen to know the guys because I do all the stores for them in the whole United States.
So are they a sponsor for you?
Yes, sir, they are. They take good care of me. The guys, they all live in Oklahoma or Arkansas. I'm sorry. But they take really good care of me, man. Business wise and sponsorship wise, they've been a big part of why we get to keep doing this, because it's not cheap.
Right. Now that's your only sponsor?
That is, yes. That guys, they're my title sponsor, and they have taken such good care of me over the years. It's a family run business. All of the stores are just they're great people. And I really enjoy, dealing with these folks, because they're just, they're amazing. They've taken care of me from day one. And, like I said, I do all their finish outs in the entire United States. And, they just, you got to take care of who takes care of you.
Yeah, I know we got a couple up here in the Midwest down in Wisconsin I've been to before.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but it's a game exchange, and man, those guys, like I said, they're amazing. They just tell me to go racing, and then they don't. Boy, if it's a big track or a little track or whatever, everybody loves these things, and they know they do, and they just they want everybody to see this thing, and I want them to see it as well, and which really gives us a lot of opportunities to be able to actually go out and just kind of. Whenever we have time, we just go get it. In the summertime, we just show up at the racetrack sometimes and say, "Hey guys, can we run this thing?" And well, what is it? And they look at it and go, "Holy smokes! You're welcome here anytime." And it's all because of the sponsor allows us to be able to be spontaneous like that.
Yeah. Now, how many gallons of jet fuel does the car hold?
Well, legally, we're allowed to hold 32 gallons. So we basically burn every drop of it. We almost have a timed fire show. Because obviously that's where a lot of the fuel is burned. But basically, whenever we light that afterburner, and you see that big blue flame coming out of the back, that engine / that afterburner, both the engine and the afterburner are burning about 1.5 gallons a second. So.
Right. So now, how many events you got scheduled for this year so far?
This year, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we've got we've run 7 events. We ran the NHRA Nationals 2 weeks ago. That was a really neat surprise. I was invited to that. Kind of a weird phone call. Just somebody called us out of the blue and said, "Hey, man, would you be interested in coming down here and running for the NHRA Nationals?" And I'm like, "Dude, we're there." That's a pretty neat deal when somebody just calls you out of the blue and says, you don't even know them, and they say, "Hey, man, we've heard about you. We like what you do. We like what you guys stand for. And, would you guys be interested in coming down here? And, we'd love to have you." And they treated us really well. Can't complain. Got a couple of really good fast passes in. And we're looking forward to going back again sometime.
Now you were talking about Tommy O'Brien earlier. So you know Tommy, you know Tammy Gatlin too, then, right?
Yeah, I know Tammy Gatlin. They actually live probably about 3 hours north of me, and I love them guys to death. Tommy's helped me out a whole bunch of times. He's helped me out of a couple jams, and being new at this, that's why I say you got to have these older guys that have been around this stuff a long time. They have a lot of knowledge. I think that I go through a racetrack and I think that, hey, man, this ain't no big deal here. And they're going to tell me, hey, man, be careful here at this point, blah, 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 blah. And, 99% of the time, they're absolutely right. And, like I said, that knowledge is invaluable. And when you have those kind of people around you, you really got to listen to them. Because they keep you out of a bad situation a lot of time.
Now, is your family involved with your jet car racing?
I do. My little girls, I call them little. One's 24 and one's 16, and they love it. When we get a chance to go to these events, we've raced farm truck and all those guys, and just being around those big crowds and stuff. And I'm a big crowd person, anyways. Always have been. My kids, they're kind of coming up to it, and when you put them in front of the stands, with a bag full of T-shirts and a T-shirt cannon, there's a lot of attention on them, and they just learn. They're taking it very well. So they're very humble, and I like to stay humble about this because it's something that not everybody in the world ever gets to do, and I got a chance to do it, and I'm going to be very respectful of all the respect that I get from everybody, and I want to give just as much.
Right. So let me ask you this, Ray. What was it like to get behind the wheel for the first time with a jet dragster?
That's always a good question. Everybody asks me that all the time. The first time I lit that afterburner, starting the car wasn't a big deal because we had started it in the in the road and at the airport and stuff like that in safe places. And man, I did that little fire show, and I'm thinking, man, I'm really doing something here. And let me tell you something, buddy. When I had that thing at 110% and I lit that afterburner for the first time, that thing threw me in the back seat about 6.5 G's. Man, I couldn't pull that throttle back fast enough. By the time I realized what was even going on, I was over a quarter mile, a couple 100 miles an hour, and I was doing everything I could do to get that thing to shut down. Pretty interesting. They had a GoPro on me, and they said, "Man, you look like a crazy man in a wet paper bag, trying to stop that thing," and just it just got you pinned to the back seat. And then, of course, when I pulled the parachute, there's about 4.5 negative G, so it goes from trying to push you through the motor to trying to yank you out of the car. So, but we are in there very, very tight. We still look at that video every once in a while, and everybody just kind of chuckles about it because it was quite interesting, quite comical, to say the least.
So now, how many crew members do you have, and who are your crew members?
I have 2 solid crew members that go with me everywhere, every time. We have our little routine. We do when we go out of town. We're heading to Joplin, Missouri here Memorial Day weekend. We'll take 4 people with us. You don't want too many people on the starting line's a crowd, but everybody has their job. And everybody does their job, and it makes everything run really smoothly. We do like to bring on that 4th person just because of the amount of driving that it takes to get to some of these tracks and stuff. Where we go out on the weekends and stuff, we also have real jobs. So like I said, we're fortunate enough to be able to do this, and so we just try not to beat each other up. And when we make mistakes, we all talk about it and laugh it off, and we all learn from it and run on down the road. And it's a great time. We go out of town, we have a super good time, and everybody loves what we do. And my guys, they're just they're excited as I am to go, and that's always a good feeling because something happens, they're there for me. I've always been told, you always have somebody that loves you, because something happens at the other end, they're willing to get your butt out of there. And it's unfortunately happened in the past, but thank goodness there's always been a reason why it happened. We've all learned from everybody else's mistakes.
Now, when you get ready for a weekend of running a jet car, what goes into preparation of getting this jet ready for a weekend of...
Man, every weekend we get done, we bring it home, we pull the afterburner off, we pull the top hat off of the hot section, which is usually the spot that makes all the power, and it's something you always have to kind of check. We're a little bit anal about maintenance. We change oil every time we go, and we always check those hot ends. We've got them here, on the shelf if we need one, just so we always make a good showing. We've never not started. We've been very fortunate with that. We're very picky. The maintenance, man, my race weekend starts, about 5 days before we even leave the shop. And, we tear it all apart, make sure everything's good. If not, we fix what needs to be fixed, load it up, and, my mind starts running 100 miles an hour the second we pull this thing out of the shop. Gets going. We all kind of, about 2 hours before we get to the racetrack, even if we're not racing until the next day, a lot of times we're, everybody's mind's already going, what do we got to do next? What do we got to do? Okay, do this, do that. And it just makes it great because I just get in the car, they strap me in. I don't even strap myself in. They adjust everything for me. They know exactly where I like everything. We have radio communication. I don't even have to talk to those guys. I'm just hearing what's going on behind me. We've got such an awesome routine and such an awesome group of guys. And we just don't have any problems. But loading the car up, getting to the track, that's part of the fun, to us because we do it for fun, and we're not trying to do it for a living or nothing yet. And we just, we all cut up and have a good time going there, and we just feel like a big old vacation, for the weekend.
Right. So now, Ray, do you have any favorite tracks to run on?
We have any what now?
You have any favorite tracks that you like running on?
We run in Ennis. Obviously, that's, those are sweet tracks, man. Those are, a lot of big national events are held in those places. And, I ran in Houston and Baytown. And so far, Baytown, I think, is probably one of my favorite. As crazy as it sounds, San Antonio, that's been a bunch of jet car drivers. I like that track, man. I feel comfortable when I'm there. The track officials are there. I always go meet the paramedics all the time. I just let those guys know, hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with me. If you got to grab me by my hair and pull me out of that car, that's what you got to do, brother. Get me out. If something happens, they're just I don't know, just something about the people that they've hired to watch over us if something does go crazy. They're always there for us, and they're always right there at the end of the track. They always come up, hey, man, everything good? And those are the kind of things that makes you feel comfortable when you go to these kind of tracks. That if something does happen, they're going to be there for you.
Right. So now, where do you get all your safety products from, like your fire suit and everything?
Yeah, we're a big fan of Simpson. Big fan. They've been around forever. There's a lot of good fire suits out there. We have, obviously, it's an SFI 20 fire suit. We have a Honda device, and, we have the best helmets and, the best of everything, because if something goes crazy, you definitely will, we'll wish like hell you had it. It just, Simpson's a good, our brand of choice. The helmets, the whole 9 yards, the safety belts, the parachutes we use, a company called Shoot. We like those, and I've got a couple parachutes that I just kind of like. And, you don't really tear them up very often, but when you do, those guys are always there to, help you out. Hey man, if something happens to it, let me know. And, they're always quick to get them in the mail to us if we need them right away or whatever. So again, that goes back to, these people, they know what we do, they know how dangerous it is, and they help us stay as safe as we possibly can.
So now, Ray, what's your opinion on the 4-wide tracks?
A 4-wide track, I really don't have an opinion on that yet, because I've never had the opportunity to run on one. Z-Max, I believe, is one. I think it would be awesome to do it personally. Just the jet cars, we don't have a big problem with traction. We don't have a drive line, obviously. So we're going to either go or not, one or the other. So I have seen on videos and stuff of people at Z-Max with 4 dragsters, jet dragsters, and I don't know, man. I think that'd be kind of cool to get an opportunity to go to.
Right. So now, do you have any advice for someone that's listening that might want to drive a jet car one day?
Man, just take care of your business first. Take care of your home. Take care of your family. This racing can be very, very expensive if you don't get in it the right way. I always told myself, man, I ain't never going to get in this stuff until 1, it's all paid for, 2, my home is paid for, and I got a little bit of money in the bank to do some traveling. But the sponsor was a surprise. They actually offered. So I didn't know what to say, but let's get it, let's figure out what we can do. Let's get this on. Just take care of your business first. If you're going to go to college, get your career started. Because this stuff can get really crazy really quick. Depends on how deep you get in it. And it's not worth the relationship, and it's not worth your education. It's not worth your kids' education. But you sure do have a lot of fun whenever you take care of all that business first. That's what makes it so much fun.
Now, since you've been driving this jet car, what would you consider the milestones?
Man, just the opportunity to meet some of these drivers. I drove for another race team for a while. Kind of put ours aside for a little while. I just needed some more seat time. We have a hot rod, and it's very, very fast. Casey Jones, I actually ran for him. I drove the Chattanooga Choo Choo for the whole year of 2016, and I got the opportunity to travel like a real professional team. He has a very neat program, and I flew to Philadelphia 22 times. I probably made a couple hundred passes that year. Got a lot of seat time, got to go to a lot of racetracks, a lot of iconic racetracks that I never ever thought I'd ever get to race at. Route 66, Brainerd, all those racetracks up on the East Coast, Richmond, Virginia. I mean, all these places where the pro guys go all the time. Let's see, we went to Bristol, Tennessee. That was an amazing track. Just got the opportunity to really get out there and be around the fans and be around, other jet car drivers, a lot of other jet car drivers. Just really enjoyed a lot of the traveling, and got a whole newfound respect for those guys that do this for a living. Just all the traveling, the logistics involved, and I have a job at home still, and being able to just get up and go like that on the weekends, and got to take my kids a couple times, and that was really, really good stuff.
Yeah, that fire Casey had was devastating. Lose both jet cars like that, man.
The what now?
I said that fire that Casey had was devastating to lose both jet cars like that.
Man, I'm sorry, I didn't get that part, man. It's staticky.
I said the fire that Casey Jones had was devastating to lose 2 jet cars like that.
You and Casey having 2 jet cars?
No, I was saying the fire that Casey Jones had was devastating to lose 2 jet cars in a fire like that.
Yeah, you said he lost it all in the fire?
Yeah, the 2 jet cars burned up.
Yeah, I was the last one to drive the Choo Choo, and I was on my way up to Oklahoma. Actually, we had a race there, and it was like 2 miles from his home. And I was about halfway up there, and he called me up. He said, "Hey, man," he said, "Hey, Ray," he said, "Ain't no sense in coming up, man. Everything burned down." And I was like, "Dude, nothing's salvageable? Are you kidding me?" And he goes, "Dude, I'm telling you, it's gone." So I went ahead and went up there anyways, just for moral support, if anything. And I got up there, and, man, I got pictures on my phone. It's just devastating every time I look at it. And it's, he's such a nice guy. His wife, is so sweet. I mean, I couldn't have driven for a nicer group of people, and we clicked the day we met. And Casey was actually one of the gentlemen that signed my license off. So he knew that I guess he knew that I was going to do exactly what he asked me to do every single time, and I did, and we clicked. I mean, we ran all 2017. We ran around together, racing, and they stayed up there. I traveled every weekend, and Russ was his other driver, Russ Glover, and me and him clicked real well. We had a great year, and unfortunately, it was that's 32 years of jet car, gone. Unfortunately, I hate it for them, because I probably would be running for them this year as well, because we just had that much fun. And love Linda, his wife, just super great people.
Yeah, now he's just running the wheel stander, right? The Crazy Train wheel stander.
Yeah, that wheel stander, man. Casey's driven that thing probably 100 times, but I'm gonna tell you something. I was usually the guy that buckled him in and unbuckled him, and every time he was sweating and he was breathing hard, and I always told him, man, I want to drive this thing. He kept looking at me like I was crazy. I said, man, I'd love to drive this thing, man, and I was hoping that next year I was gonna pull double duty, run the jet car and run the wheel stander, and I've always liked that wheel stander, man. Just something about the blower behind your head, and the funding off the ground, and 175 miles an hour and a quarter. There's just something about that, that adrenaline, man. You just, sometimes we get it anywhere we can, and sometimes we got to do different things to get it.
Yeah. So now, Ray, I'm gonna go into some fun questions with you now.
Okay.
Do you have any hobbies outside of jet car racing?
I'm a pilot. I have my own small airplane. I wouldn't call it really a hobby. Just don't have a whole lot of time to do it, especially during racing season. Just kind of really, I got a lot of my hobbies out of the way when I was younger. We do focus a whole lot on this car, on the sponsorship side of it, the promoting it and that sort of stuff, and, the shows we have to go to and this sort of stuff. And, we really enjoy that stuff. We've gotten a little bit older. We slowed down a little bit on all the other extra hobbies. We got a group of people that just love this thing and love what we do, and we all go and have the same good time. So it really makes it worth, kind of not having a whole bunch of other hobbies and kind of focusing on this.
Right. Now, Ray, if someone were to say, "Hey, Ray, here's $200 million to build a new drag race track," where would you want to build the track, and what kind of features would you want to put into that track?
Man, that's a good question, man. Just really thinking about it. I mean, personally, I'm kind of partial to the military because my dad was in the Army, and I traveled with him, as a kid. I'd love to have something, in between the Dallas and San Antonio area. I don't know where it would be, probably Waco area, something like that, somewhere around Fort Hood. We're real big into the, our soldiers and that sort of stuff. And, I think that, having something like that, would be very beneficial. What would I incorporate in it? I'd have obviously a big old VIP section for wounded warriors and that sort of stuff. Definitely, free to them to even just come. Those things are very expensive to build, and they're very, very expensive to operate. And, that's why you don't see a lot of them up way north. Because, just like Coletta said, we'd love to build one up here, but we still have to paint it when there's snow all over the place. And I got to thinking, I keep the little things like that in the back of my mind. I think down here we've got such good weather. I like Texas. I'm kind of partial to it. So probably, I'd say, in the clean area somewhere. And that way we could bring in people from, Waco and Austin and that sort of stuff. I think that would be a pretty neat place to put one.
So now, Ray, I know with the jet cars it's more of an exhibition sport and put on a show for the fans, but I'm going to ask you a question. If I know you're not in it for the speed and all that, but if you could pick a greatest competitor, who would be your greatest competitor?
Man, you know, me and Russ ran so much together. You know, it doesn't matter. We all still have to stroke our egos a little bit every once in a while, you know, and you know, just because we're out there for doing an exhibition thing, but any race car driver, and I think I can speak for just about all of us, is you put somebody beside me, and I want to get there first. Whether it's exhibition, whether you're paying me to do it or not paying me to do it, it's still, you got that little ego thing you got to stroke every once in a while, and you know, it's nice to finish first all the time, as much as you can.
Yeah. So now, do you have any awards or trophies?
Trophies or anything for it?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's not really a trophy deal. You know, a lot of them they hire us in, and you know, we come in a lot less than most folks do, but because we just enjoy doing it, we have a full-blown sponsor. So we do what we can to get this thing out there, you know, to take care of our, you know, game exchange, because those guys, like I said, man, those guys are amazing. You know, we've won, you know, quite a few races, and you know, if you want to, you know, go down that. But like, again, it's all about the show. You know, put a big fire show on for the fans. You know, and it's nice whenever you make a pass like that, and then, you know, they're you know, our crew's videotaping this whole thing, and then, you know, you hear the crowd go nuts after the car shut off. Of course, I can't hear any of this stuff, but, you know, when the crowd goes nuts, man, that's what makes it all worth it. Because then you know you did your job, you know, because it's such a good feeling.
Yeah. So now, Ray, if you could do time traveling and go back in time, would you change anything?
No, absolutely not. Not when it comes to this thing. The only thing I'd probably do is have two of them. You know, I mean, and have a second driver. I learned so much running for KC, and I learned so much about the business. And it is a business. I mean, you can't fool yourself. I mean, it's still a business, and it's a fun business when things are going right. I would love to have two cars after running with KC. It's just a full-time job. You know, it's you got to book all the events. You got to be there. You know, the equipment's bigger, the toter's bigger, the trailer's bigger. You know, the more spare parts. You know, everything's just bigger, and there's more to it. I enjoy it that much where I would love to get into it full time. And I mean, if NHRA could, you know, have a budget for us, and I mean, I'd show up for all, you know, 22 or 26 races, whatever they have this year. You know, I would love to be able to do that, because I enjoy being around the people. I enjoy being around, you know, John Forth, all those guys, you know, Coletta's, all the pro teams and everything. They're just, you know, these guys, you know, we're all traveling. They're obviously traveling much faster than we are, but I mean, we have that weird bond. You know, you go this fast. Not everybody gets a chance to do it. Not everybody can do it. You know, not everybody's physically, you know, fit to be able to do it, because it's pretty brutal on you. And just, I don't know, they're good guys, and we'd love to travel with them, that's for sure.
Now, since you've been driving the jet car, do you have a most embarrassing moment?
Could I have an embarrassing moment?
Yeah. Is there a most embarrassing moment for you?
I remember like it was yesterday. We were in Denton, and I forgot to arm the computer system on them that shuts them down. That's part of the NHRA safety features. We actually have a button that arms all the timers. And so if it don't shut off in, 5 seconds, that it automatically shuts it off for you and all that stuff. And I forgot to arm it. Well, when you forget to arm it, you can't light the burner. So, we took off down there, and it was like, holy smokes. And it was a 4th of July weekend, and we're thinking they're going to turn the lights off and the fireworks are going to start. And, I was like, what the heck happened? And then I looked down on my GoPro. That tells me a lot of times what I did wrong.
Right.
And that was pretty embarrassing. Good part was we were able to redeem ourselves. We ran it back to the fireworks were going off. We ran back to the pits. We filled that sucker up, and we pushed it back to the line. So when the lights came back on, we were on the line again. Now we were pretty hell bent to redeem ourselves. That was pretty embarrassing. But it was. But they were great, man. The track was great. We redeemed ourselves. We've been back since then. Chris Graves, super nice guy. He's taking such good care of me, man. Getting me on some of these events and stuff. Being a new driver, and not everybody wants to trust you. But I think they've seen our equipment, and we're a first class operation, and we continue to be that way, and we have every intention on staying that way.
Right. So now, Ray, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food, I love Italian food, man. Spaghetti, lasagna. I'm an Italian. kind of guy, man. Just love the Italian way of life. Just so laid back. Been there a couple of times. We lived in Europe, and just love the Italian way of life. I mean, it's just everybody's happy-go-lucky. Everybody enjoys the day. And, it's just that's what I like the most, and that's why we kind of take some of that into our team and do the same thing. Everybody just loves it and what we do, and we just have a good time doing it. And it's kind of like a family, basically. Everybody's looking out after each other there, and crazy stuff can happen at those racetracks, and they're there for you, and that's what that makes you feel. It takes one more headache off of your shoulders that if something happens, you got people there that care for you, and they're gonna help you out. I mean, if something happens.
So, what's your favorite beverage?
My favorite beverage, I like grape juice of all crazy things. I'm a big Welch's grape juice fan. You'll see me drinking that all the time at the racetrack. It's the weirdest thing. Everybody tells me I'm weird, but I don't drink, so we enjoy other things. We don't have to get fired up. We're there to have a good time.
Mm-hmm. So now, Ray, are you a movie guy? Do you watch movies at all?
Man, I haven't had a TV in my house in 14 years. Everybody calls me kind of weird, but I've always said, man, if something's that important, I'm going to find out about it some other way, or I'm not going to have to worry about it. I get to have a TV in my home. I've got so much other stuff to do. I communicate with my kids better. My kids communicate with me better. Everybody is, I don't worry about things that I can't control. Is the biggest thing in my life. If I can't control it, dude, I don't worry about it. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen. You just deal with it, the consequences, or deal with the situation when it gets there. And the TV is just a lot of negative stuff. And obviously, we're very positive people, and we keep our heads up high, even in down times. We always look for the good parts out of it, and just pick up on those little pieces and run, man. That's all we can do. Sometimes you make mistakes, and all you can do is make it the best you can and move on down the road and don't strive on the path.
All right. So going back years ago when you actually did watch some TV, do you have a favorite movie of all time?
Man, I really don't. I really don't watch many movies. There's been a lot of racing movies out there, and I've seen little pieces or whatever of them. We just concentrate so much on what we do because we want to be the best at what we do. We want to be better than everybody else, and of course, we got a long way to go because there's a lot of good guys out there. But we take our time and concentrate on doing what we do and being the best at what we do, and just not a lot of time for TV. Movies, man, sitting here thinking about it, I can't really put my finger on one specific movie. So,
what's your favorite music?
Music, I like rock and roll, man. I'm a big rock and roll fan. I'm a big '80s kid. Love the White Snake and the Ozzy Osbourne and all that stuff. And of course, I love country music too. But my music of choice is probably the '80s music. I love the '80s rock.
Now, do you guys listen to music in the pit area?
A lot of times we have headsets and stuff on. So again, we all go back to the focus is so intense. It's almost scary to some people around us. They're like, man, what's going on? Everybody's just so ready for what we're fixing to go do, and everybody has to be in the right mind. So it's not really, we'll listen to it going to the racetrack, but, kind of once we get to the track, it's pretty much, we consider that part of the racing, and everybody kind of gets into that flow, and everybody gets into that mindset of, here, what we're fixing to go do is, we just got to make it right. Everybody kind of goes over what they need to go over. We have a quick little meeting before we, when they say it's showtime, we'll have a quick meeting, and everybody kind of goes over what they got to go over, and, we go execute it, and, do the best we can.
Now on a day that you're going to be running the jet car, do you eat food or you wait till after the races?
Man, I don't normally eat. I think food makes you lazy. I mean, usually I'll wake up that morning and I'll grab something real quick, just something small. I'll grab, yogurts or something like that in the hotel or wherever we're at. You never know where we are. And usually I pretty much don't eat until the end of the night. And then there's a lot of times, of course, everything's all fired up and everybody's all hyped up. And, especially when we do well and everybody's just, nobody's really wanting to eat. And of course, then the crash comes, about 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's like, holy smokes. Once everybody starts realizing what time it is. I've never really ate much before I raced.
So what's been the fondest memory of your jet car career?
Man, the day Casey Jones called me and said, "Hey, would you be interested in driving one of my cars?" I mean, that's almost an honor, dude, coming from somebody that's been in this business for 32 years. I mean, this guy was John Force's crew chief. When he called me up and we just got to chatting one day, and he's like, I'm looking for a driver, and I was like, shoot, I might be interested in doing that. And then, of course, that conversation kind of went to the wayside. Then he called me back and he said, "Hey, would you really be interested in doing that?" And that's when I knew he was serious. And the pay wasn't very good, but it was, the experience. There's no way I probably would have been able to ever experience that. And for such a short time that I've been doing this, and then the people that have offered me to actually drive the cars or whatever the case may be, they've come from people that have been around this business for a long time. And, I take that very serious, because we are serious at what we do, and they see that. So obviously what we do, they've seen that. I pay attention. You do what you're supposed to do, because ultimately in the end, buddy, that monster is out there, and when I push that afterburner today, that monster may not be there, but that monster will be there one day, possibly. We just do everything we can to do risk management, because that monster will bite you. When he gets you, you're going to know, and it's not going to be no fun. But again, those guys have obviously seen what we do, the safety that we go over, the extra that we do all the time to keep something from possibly happening to us. That was probably the best day, man, when he called me up and said, "Would you be interested?" And I was like, holy smokes. I mean, I called my sponsor, and he was like, "Absolutely, man." He said, go ahead and take the year off, and we'll be here for you next year. So, again, even on that side of it, I mean, I had everything going for me, and I'm like, man, I got a sponsor. I don't want to, mess that deal up. And they were like, dude, absolutely, man. And that's what I said back at the beginning, man. Those guys, they have taken such good care of me. All the way through everything, they've taken care of me.
Right. So now, Ray, if people that are listening to this interview right now want to find a schedule where you're going to be running at, what's the best way for them to find the schedule?
Man, we got Jet Blast Productions on Facebook. We got some Snapchat stuff going on, and we've got a young lady that's really kind of jumped on board with us, and she's going to start taking care of a lot of that social media stuff. I'm not a big social media guy, but obviously I'm fixing to get more and more into it. I want to start answering questions that people ask and that sort of stuff. And she's setting all that stuff up. But we do have Jet Blast Productions on Facebook, and we are having a schedule posted on there. And we've got, I think, 6 more events this year already booked. And as things come up, we'll add that stuff to it. And that, and I believe they're putting it on Game Exchange. Just go to Game XChange a website, and they'll have the list of events that we have for the rest of the year there.
So now, Ray, I want to thank you very much for your time for this interview.
Man, I want to thank you guys, man, for giving me a call, and love talking to you guys, man. You guys are the ones that get this stuff out there. We appreciate everything everybody does for us.
Now, do you have any final words for the people that are listening in out there?
Man, we love what we do, and we love it when you guys come out. There's no way we could do it without you guys. Supporting the local tracks, the big tracks, all the local racers and all the big racers, the guys that are pro teams and that sort of stuff. It takes all of it. We can show up all day long, and if there's nobody there to watch, it's no fun for us. So you guys are hard-earned money. You guys buy tickets and come to these events. And if you guys are ever there, come down, say hi, come down. And we like that. We love it. Anytime that we can, support what we love to do. And we get to come out there and entertain, you folks, that we have that common bond. We all love being there. And we just get the luxury of being able to entertain you with it.
Right. Well, thanks again, Ray. We'll do more interviews in the future.
Oh man, we'd love to do more interviews with you. Love to do something from the racetrack, man. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Something live, and that'd be great, man. We'd have a great time with that.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, Ray. Stay in line for a minute, though.
All right, buddy.